Title: Echoes of the Last Thought. The story is set in a small traditional fishing village in Japan near the cliffs of Shimane Prefecture, known for its isolation, misty shorelines, and connection to ancient folklore. The year is 2000, and the village is technologically behind the times with few modern amenities. The villagers lead quiet lives but hold superstitions from generations past. Plot summary. The tale begins on a chilly May evening. A young Tokyo journalist named Hiroshi has come to the village to research legends for a magazine column on haunted locales. He hears rumors of an ominous phrase known among villagers, but unknown to outsiders. This three-word phrase, rarely spoken, supposedly brings disaster upon the one who thinks it. Once the phrase enters a person's mind, it lingers, waiting for their final conscious thought. The curse only grows when someone who knows the phrase dies nearby, transferring to the nearest person who shares a similar fear or thought in their mind. Act 1. Discovery of the legend. Hiroshi meets an old fisherman, Takeo, in the local tavern, who reluctantly speaks about the cursed phrase. He tells Hiroshi that years ago, people started dying mysteriously, and their deaths seem to be linked to shared last thoughts. Takeo, terrified, whispers that those who encounter the curse claim to see visions or hear things they cannot explain, moments before their death. Hiroshi, skeptical but intrigued, decides to investigate. Takeo warns Hiroshi not to go near the cliffs at night, as it's rumored the curse began with the spirit of a woman who threw herself from the cliffs centuries ago after she was betrayed. Her thoughts, full of vengeance, were rumored to have become the cursed phrase. The phrase is reversible. The first word can be thought of as the last and vice versa, as it supposedly held the woman's final emotion, which she wished to pass on as a form of haunting. Act 2. Experiencing the curse. Hiroshi dismisses the warning, but as he returns to his inn, he notices a phrase written on the wall in faint, nearly invisible chalk. Three words he doesn't understand, feeling as if they're words he knew but forgot. That night, he has strange, vivid dreams of people calling his name, of voices warning him to leave the village. When he wakes, the innkeeper mentions he was screaming in his sleep. Hiroshi spends the next day in the town, talking to locals who avoid eye contact and subtly reference his new burden. Some hint he's already been chosen and advise him to think of good memories and keep his mind pure. He doesn't understand, feeling increasingly on edge. By evening, he starts hearing footsteps following him, always stopping when he looks back. Hiroshi catches glimpses of a figure in the fog at night, mirroring his movements. Act 3. Passing the curse. The following night, Hiroshi dreams of the three words again, almost instinctively reciting them backward in his mind. He realizes he now has an irrational fear that his last thought will be of those words, and his anxiety heightens, wondering who would bear the curse if he succumbed to it. Frightened, he confides in a local woman, Aiko, who he suspects harbors knowledge of the curse. She warns him, "The curse searches for those who think it at their weakest. You must not linger on it." She explains how villagers who share similar fears, even if not the exact same thought, are most at risk of inheriting the curse when the previous victim dies nearby. As Hiroshi digs further, he learns the last victim was found dead near the cliffs. The words carved into their palm matched what he'd seen on the inn wall. He realizes the phrase has a rhythm that compels those cursed to repeat it, almost like a lullaby from the dead. The more Hiroshi tries to forget the phrase, the more it haunts his every thought. Act 4. The Final Escape. Desperate, Hiroshi decides to leave the village, but on the road he feels compelled to visit the cliffs. There, he meets Takeo, who seems entranced, staring into the sea. As Hiroshi approaches, Takeo suddenly mutters the cursed phrase backward, passing the curse onto Hiroshi with a final smile before falling forward into the water. Hiroshi feels the curse seep into him, filling his thoughts with images of past victims. He realizes that if he keeps thinking of the phrase, he's doomed to the same fate. His only hope lies in reaching the nearest town and sharing his burden with someone who might resist its pull. Act 5. Confronting fate. In the final act, Hiroshi barely makes it to a hospital in the neighboring town, seeking isolation to clear his mind. But as he closes his eyes, he sees the phrase's reflection on the walls, on nurses' notes, on every flashing light. He knows he can no longer avoid his fate and accepts his thoughts of the cursed phrase, trying to confront it and resist passing it on. In the last moments, he notices a young nurse nearby who seems disturbed, sharing a similar worry about death, and he can almost feel the curse transfer. In his final seconds, he realizes the curse lingers as a final, desperate thought, waiting for someone's mind to pass through it backward or forward, a cycle of fear never ending.